Welcome back to the Live More with Ray show. We're really excited tonight that you are with us so that we can continue to talk about educational options. So tonight we want to continue our series on what we're doing for students that are going to college or post-secondary options. Tonight we're talking about educational choices. What are your choices after your high school career? High school is getting ready to be over. What are you going to do after high school? So tonight we have our guest with us, Mr. Dale Alexander, who is going to be talking to us specifically about HBCUs. And we'll talk about all of the acronyms and everything in a few minutes. But first I want to talk about your post-secondary options, helping students the life after high school. So some students may have the impression that college isn't for them. They may be the first generation. You may not think that you were so successful in high school and you really want to do something different. You want to do something with your life, but you're not sure what to do with your life. Or you may just be stuck. You may not know what to do. So tonight we just want to have a discussion that will help you through your pathway. Now listen, sometimes you're stuck because of affordability. A lot of students have in their hearts and in their minds, and they've heard so many people talk about, they cannot afford to go to college. The truth of the matter is, you can't afford not to. You can't afford not to have a post-secondary option. You need something to do out of high school, because if you just stay with a high school diploma, your ability and your resources and your choices for jobs and careers will be limited. Then a student may be stuck because they weren't successful. Just because you weren't successful in high school, maybe you were immature, maybe you didn't get it, maybe you didn't care, maybe you didn't want to wake up, maybe the classes were too early, whatever the case may be, they weren't interesting. Please understand that there are post-secondary choices that you can make that can help you and your family become a greater person. Generational gaps. Sometimes you are the first generational student. You may be the first one in your family going to college. That's okay. We're here to help you. We're here to support you. And tonight, we have so many great things to talk about. I want to just get started. How about you, Mr. Alexander?
Sure thing.
So you may have some pre-existing knowledge about what college choices are about. You've heard your friends talk about it. You've heard the disaster stories. You've heard all kinds of spooky stories, getting to college, can't afford it, whatever the case may be. But the truth of the matter is there are more than one choice for you. So what are our options? So our first option that we'd like to present to you tonight is your 4-year college option. There are over 2,200 schools in the United States that are 4-year degree required schools. And those schools have general education and majors. The major is an area that the student specifically is interested in, and he or she is really going to horn in on those skills so that they can go into their career.
Right.
Now, you know, Dale, I don't know about you, but when I was in college, I really didn't get, when I was in high school, I really didn't get the support or the understanding of what was next.
Right.
All I knew was that you needed to go to college, and that was it. The truth of the matter is we need to have more conversations with our parents, with our school counselors, with our friends, friends of the family, different professionals that we know in our lives. Your doctor, your lawyer, your veterinarian, everyone. You need to talk to everyone to see how they got to the next level. So, a student is going to a 4-year college. There are certain things that you may need to know. You need to know what major. And if you don't know what major, just start doing some career exploration so that you can begin to find out what do you like. The truth of the matter is we have a whole bunch of people doing a whole bunch of things and they don't know what they like. Like what were you put here for? Like, you have a special gift, you have a special talent, and you need to horn in on that. Because if without you tapping into that, you'll be in a job for 25 years hating going to work every day. Hello, can I talk to somebody out there? Would you listen? Listen, we're going to help you. We're here to support you. So if you're looking at a 4-year college, you're looking at the location. You want to know if you want to be in the woods, in the rural, or you want to be in the city. Right. There's so many things to look forward to. Then the size of the school. Do you want over 25,000 or you want under 2,000? There are certain types of schools for you. and the length of the program. Is it going to be a 4-year, a BS degree, or is it 4-year plus a year or two for your master's? Are you going for your doctorate? Listen, those are your options. Besides the 4-year option, there is a 2-year option, and that is open enrollment. The 2-year option is a little trickier because a lot of times you don't need a high school diploma to go to a 2-year school. You can begin while you're in high school. But to matriculate and to graduate, you need a high school diploma. Or if you're an adult continuing education person. All right. So in a 2-year college, they have specific purposes. And one is you aren't really ready to step into the career. So you're doing career preparation. Like you're trying to get your grades up. You weren't really that successful in high school. So you're working on getting your grades up so that you can get into a 4-year college that has the career that you want. Then is the option of transfer. Once you finish your 2-year college, you can actually take your credits and transfer them to a 4-year college to get your BS degree. A lot of curriculums, a lot of majors need a BS degree to help you move forward, to get paid more. And then you have another option, which I call the third option, is the vocational technical training. And that option is, it allows you to do primarily coursework in a specific area to get a certification or a diploma. For instance, you're going into electronics for cars, and you get that certification. Or you go into a different area. Those vocation is just that. For that particular area, you get all the coursework, and then you move forward. And then you have the fourth option. That is military training. Now, we don't talk about that often because a lot of young people aren't opting to go into the military, but military training is an option. You can enlist in any branch of the U.S. government armed forces, and most of the time you're working with a recruiter. And a recruiter can talk to you about your academia, they can talk to you about the physicality of your body, all that. So that's with a recruiter. And I want to conclude with allowing Brother Dale, Mr. Dale Alexander, to come in and talk to us. But I want to talk one more thing about the gap year. The gap year. The gap year is usually, I know I want to go to college, I really don't know what I want to do, and you didn't do the footwork that it takes to get there. A lot of times you expected other people to do them for you. And the truth of the matter is, it's your life, you need to do it for you. You need to ask the right questions, get around the right people, and get the support that you need to move forward. Now, listen, you can blame the college counselor. You can blame your school counselor. You can blame your parents. You can blame everyone. But the truth of the matter is, your life, take charge and do what you need to do so that you can move forward. The gap year is just saying, I'm not ready yet. And I need to prepare myself. The mindset. You're a little immature. You're really not ready. You're still hanging out. You don't know the difference between time management and going to bed early and getting things done and getting up and going to class. Don't waste your parents' money. Then we have what we call the PG year. And that year is designated in private high schools, usually for athletes that need to work on the academia to go to the next level. And usually they call it the 13th year. And the 13th year is you're actually working on getting your grades together, taking the SATs or the ACTs to getting into the college, and also working on your game, pretty much either football, basketball, or whatever, soccer, whatever it is for that 13th year so that you can get ready for college. Right? Exactly. So now, Mr. Alexander is here to talk to us about HBCUs. The floor is yours. What is an HBCU?
Well, thank you, Ray. An HBCU, that acronym represents a historically black college or university.
Okay.
And HBCUs were founded between the Civil War era and up through 1964.
Okay.
So for a historically black college or university to have that designation, it would have had to have been founded somewhere around beginning somewhere around the Civil War era.
Okay.
And then anywhere up through 1964.
Okay, so that is the historical piece. That's
Yes,
why they
that's the
have the
historical
title of
piece.
HBCU.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
And HBCUs were founded, they were the only institutions founded expressly to educate African Americans.
Okay.
Hence the black part of it.
Okay.
Okay. And the first HBCUs, the very first, were founded actually prior to the Civil War. And there were three of them, Cheney University and Lincoln University in Pennsylvania, and then Wilberforce University in Ohio.
Okay.
So they were founded prior to the Civil War, but since then, there have been over 100 other HBCUs founded.
Wow.
And currently there are 106, I believe. The number just went up one recently, but 106 historically black colleges and universities in the United States.
I've been wanting to ask this question, and maybe I'm jumping the gun. Do you have to just be black to go to these colleges? I'm confused.
Can
you help me out? You
but
don't.
We'll get there.
Okay, we'll get there. Okay.
We'll get there. You don't. And again, that's where the historical piece comes in, because it historically black, because at one point in the nation's history, that was the only option for African Americans in the country in order to get a post-secondary education, or in order to get any kind of advanced education at all.
Okay. All right.
They only had the option of going to an HBCU.
Okay.
So, but now, as the post-secondary education landscape has changed, we'll talk more about how the historical black piece does not mean all black or only black.
Okay, thank you.
But HBCUs are they're private schools or they're public schools.
Okay.
Okay, they're private institutions or public institutions. Many of the first HBCUs were founded by religious organizations. So, for instance, some of the first HBCUs that were founded actually by African Americans were founded by African Americans with the support of the African Methodist Episcopal Church.
Oh, okay.
In America.
Okay.
Okay. Some of the first HBCUs were founded with the help of the Freedmen's Bureau, the government's Freedmen's Bureau, right after the Civil War.
Okay.
And then many were founded with the help of white abolitionists, or with the help of northern economists and northern business owners who were looking either to Christianize blacks after the Civil War, or looking to be able to build a workforce.
Oh, wow.
Within their companies.
Within their companies.
Exactly.
And they would support them.
They would support them.
Wow.
So they had a reason.
Okay.
They had a reason for doing it. But as I said, at one point in the nation's history, the HBCUs were the only opportunity for African Americans and freed slaves to get a higher education.
Okay. So today, can we tell me a little bit more about the schools today?
Okay. Well, the schools today, the 105, 106 HBCUs today are actually found in, you'll find them in 19 states.
19 states,
19 states, mainly in the South. Texas, Arkansas, Alabama, Mississippi, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia. But you'll find them in 19 states. The northernmost locations are in Michigan and Ohio.
Okay.
But you'll also find an HBCU in the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Oh, really?
Yes. University of U.S. Virgin Islands is considered an HBCU.
Oh, I didn't know that. And my family's from the Virgin Islands. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you'll find them there, and then you'll also find HBCUs in the District of Columbia, in the nation's capital.
Okay.
There are 2 HBCUs there.
Okay. So does the HBCUs, do they still have funding and all of that, like normal, like regular schools?
Yeah.
What is, are they up to par? Talk to me.
Well, they are regular colleges and universities, just like the other 3,000 plus in the nation.
Okay.
Some are very strong financially. Some are not not as strong financially, and in recent years, a number of HBCUs have struggled financially to keep their doors open.
And the struggle comes from?
The struggle comes from on one side, not having the kind of financial endowments some of our majority institutions have.
Okay.
For instance, you have a Princeton or a Harvard or even a Rutgers who have a multi-million dollar endowment that they can use to fund programs and activities at their university and just to keep the university open.
Okay.
Many HBCUs, because they're smaller, many are private.
Okay.
And don't have the history of of graduates giving back to them.
The alumni.
Alumni being able to give back to them at some of the levels that our major institution alumni can give.
Okay, so we want to give a shout out to all the alumni and, say, hey, come on. These schools are still very vital, and they still are they're very much a part of the option for our students, and we would like for our students to be a little bit more attracted to them. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that is in no way a slight to HBCU alums.
Okay.
Because they are HBCU alums, in my personal experience, are some of the most committed individuals to the schools that they graduated from.
Okay.
And they will support them with finances, but they'll support them in other ways as well.
Okay.
So today's HBCUs, again, 105, there's of that 105, 106, just under 50 of them are private.
Okay.
And the remainder are public institutions.
Okay.
The public institutions do have the advantage of receiving funds from state governments.
Okay.
So they do receive some funds, but not as much as any institution needs.
Okay.
They do currently represent, let's see, I think it's 11% of the nation's African Americans attend HBCUs.
Okay. Now, so can you talk a little bit about the funding? Do they receive funding just like all the other universities, the federal fundings? They get the Pell Grant and all of that.
Right.
Is there anything extra? Do they have any websites to where a student that wants to go to HBCU, are there any websites that they can actually go to get support? I mean,
well, there are two main organizations that I'm familiar with that can connect students to HBCUs. One is the United Negro College Fund, or UNCF.
UNCF, okay.
Most people know a mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Okay.
You can say that in almost anywhere in the world and somebody would know
it's
who you're talking about.
Okay,
it's
and
UNCF.
they are connected with HBCUs?
UNCF is connected with HBCUs. They're connected actually with 37 private HBCUs.
Okay.
Of the 105, 106.
Okay, good.
Another organization is the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund.
Okay.
Or the Thurgood Marshall College Fund. And Thurgood Marshall is connected with many of the public HBCUs.
Oh, wow.
And both organizations would provide a student or parent with links to everything's on the internet now.
Right.
So
everything is on the
internet.
Okay.
So both organizations would provide students with links to the HBCUs that are connected to them.
Okay.
And you'd be able to link right to the school's website, get some specific information on whatever school it is, and but each organization also has information on scholarships that students can get to go to those HBCUs as well as other schools.
Okay, so my question to you is, how are the HBCUs attracting the students of today?
Well, HBCUs remain a vital option,
okay,
particularly for our African American students.
Okay.
Because in relation to the majority population, our African American students are still coming out of high school and entering college at a disadvantage in relation to...
Wait a minute, this is 2015, hold it. What do you mean?
Well,
Speak to me. Speak to
we-
us.
Right, we've seen it. We've seen it in many of our communities and school boards around the nation, where the quality of education that particularly our inner city students are getting is still lagging behind the majority population.
Wow.
So they are coming out in what some people call as being underrepresented or underserved.
Wow.
They're coming out of school at a disadvantage in comparison to some of their non-African American peers in school districts that have money.
Okay.
Have
So
a lot
listen,
of money.
we only have a few minutes left. My question to you is, what can we do on this show to help, one, get the underserved student to where he or she needs to go?
Right.
Two, how can we help HBCUs? I mean, I knew we took on talking about them today. It's
Right.
important, and we'll be talking about all options. But the truth of the matter is, how can we help? I've been going to a lot of schools that have college fairs.
Right.
I've been talking to a lot of students on Instagram, all over. We've been talking about on social media. What can we do to help students get to where they need to go and to support parents on what they need to know? You and I, we're the guru.
Right.
You know, as we get information, seriously, as we get information, we're giving you information.
Right, right.
And the truth of the matter is, I want you to check your information. I need for you to go to the websites. I need for you to talk to us. Say, you know what, you said this, but this didn't happen for me. If you're out there and you're struggling and you're not sure on how to do what you need to do, you have our information. Please, please, we're here to serve you. That's what we're all about. We're here to serve you, help you on your journey so you can live more and fear less. So what can we do?
Well, I think one of the things we can do is certainly encourage our young people who are in high school, our young African American high school students and their parents to begin to investigate HBCUs and obviously anything you can search anything online.
Right.
But they can begin to investigate HBCUs by doing some Google searches or other searches online to find out where HBCUs located.
Right.
What are the names of the HBCUs in the country?
Now, is there an organization that actually takes students on trips to?
There are several organizations that do HBCU college tours. So I would recommend students and their parents Googling that.
Okay.
Google HBCU college tours.
Right.
And see what comes up. I know there's a couple in this area, and I don't know the exact names, but certainly Google HBCU college tours.
Right, and ask your school counselor.
Ask your school counselor.
Your school counselor, what is it? And it's just not African Americans, it's just not blacks, it's the minority students. There's plenty of money. It breaks my heart when I hear students say, I don't have any money, I can't. The affordability piece is such a scary piece, right? But there's a science to breaking out the tuition as to what you need to do, how you need to do it. You can do all kinds of things to go to school. There's no reason not to go to school.
One thing I will say, there is a lot of money available for students to go to college.
Say that again.
There's a lot of money available for students to go to college.
Look in that camera and tell that person sitting on the chair.
There's a lot of money for students to go to college. You just have to do your due diligence, do your research,
right,
and find that money.
Right.
Because it's out there.
It's out there.
It's out, and it's not a deep dive. It's not a deep search.
Right.
It's out there. If you search scholarships, more than hundreds, even thousands of scholarships would come up.
Right.
The United Negro College Fund provides over 400 scholarships, internships, and fellowships for students to go to college.
Wow.
Thurgood Marshall College Fund, again, is an organization that also provides scholarships. So there are a lot of scholarships. And again, HBCUs are a viable option because you have the opportunity. They are able to provide a college education, usually at about a third of the cost
Wow.
of some of our major institutions.
Wow.
So they are able to give you a quality education for less money in most cases.
And now we're talking about scholarships. We're not talking about loans.
No, we're talking scholarships.
Free money. That's what I say.
Scholarships
free
and
money.
grants.
Scholarships and grants are free money. Say free money. Free money. Right. So okay.
Yeah. So those, there are many options to pay for college out there. And you just have to do your due diligence. You have to do your research to find it. You can start by searching your state scholarship sites.
Okay.
You can start also with the schools that you're interested in going to, whether it's an HBCU or non-HBCU.
Okay.
Each school usually has some type of scholarship available to students who qualify.
Right.
Touching on the HBCUs not only being for Black students or African American students, HBCU enrollment has increased with Latino Americans, with Asian Americans, and even amongst white Americans.
Okay.
Because there are 2 HBCUs that are actually predominantly white right now.
Wow.
Both are in West Virginia, but they call them the white HBCUs.
Okay.
So it's not strictly for African American students any longer, but it remains a viable option for our African American high school students.
Wow. Mr. Alexander, we appreciate you. We thank you. We thank Harmonic C. The information for Harmonic C is on the television. Please understand that Mr. Alexander is here. He'll come to your school. We'll do groups for you. We'll do workshops for you. Just let us know how we can support you and how we can help you. Listen, the one thing our heart's desire is that we become resourceful and we become help. We are serving the community. I really, really want you to understand it is our heart's desire to support families and students to get where they're going. So many young people are cashing out. So many young people are foreclosing on their lives because they don't have options. They don't think they have options. That, everybody, and no disrespect to any career, but everybody wants to be a chef and everybody wants to be a hairdresser. Well, I'm not trying to be funny. That's wonderful. I love you for it. Thank you for cooking for me. But the truth of the matter is, we need you. We need you in the hospitals. We need you in all industries. We need you in NASA. We need you in the financial district. We need you all over, whatever your heart's desire. We need you as a journalist. We need for you to travel and tell us the story. We need authors. We need filmmakers. We need pilots. We need news reporters. We need cameramen. We need men and women, young people. Please, everybody, no disrespect, everybody can't be a basketball player. Right. Hello. And everybody can't be a soccer player. Just we need for you to know your gifts and your talents. Know that God has blessed you. He has blessed you with a gift. He has blessed you with a talent. And you can serve the kingdom.
Amen.
Oh, yeah. Glory. Don't get me started. Yeah. So with that, understand that we are here to support you. And understand, we thank Mr. Alexander for coming, Harmonic C. The information is on the screen. And listen, we here at Live More with Ray want to help you live fearlessly. No fear. Listen, walk through it. We can support you. We can do whatever we need. Can I pray for you before we close? Will we just trust God today that He will open, that someone will hear the message, that someone will hear this message and sit up and say, that's my answer. So God, we bless you and we thank you and we send the word out that someone will hear it. And someone will have an answer. We look forward to seeing you and hearing from you. Be blessed. Yes, be blessed. We thank you, Mr. Alexander.
You're welcome,
We
Ms. Brown.
thank you.
Thank
we
you for
praise
having me.
God for you. And we look forward to more information. Next month, we're coming and we're telling you all kinds of things about college. You have choices. God bless you.